Hey guys, how's it going? This is Natinator, and welcome back to Corpse Party, Book of Shadows of course. We're just gonna carry on right from last time, so let's go. No! We can't just leave him behind. We have to take him to a hospital. But he's dead. No, he's not. He's dead. He's not. He can't be. Leave him and run? We'll get caught? That ghost girl must have been pursuing them. This is bad. I have to go help them. What the? Murderer! Katayama's body was sprawled unceremoniously on the landing halfway up to the third floor, along with Okawa. At the top of the stairs stood Emi, and in front of her, Yuya, with an imposing scowl on his face. I didn't understand any of this. What had just happened? Ah! Emi let out another scream and came running toward me down the stairs. Okawa, then, seemed as if he'd fallen and broken his arm. He was lopsidedly crawling toward me. It was almost as if he were trying to distance himself from Yuya. Murderer! Murderer! I ran to the base of the stairs to meet up with Emi. I needed some sort of context here. Emi! What happened? What's going on? Run! Run away! You'll be killed! Kizumi kicked him down the stairs, out of the blue. What? I glanced up at Yuya, but his face was shrouded in darkness. I couldn't make out any expression at all. Okawa seemed to have reached his breaking point. He shot to his feet and took off behind me toward the second floor as fast as he could. Yuya kicked Okawa down the stairs? Why? Yuya, it's not true, is it? Slowly, he walked down to the landing. He was neither concerned nor scornful. His face was a blank slate. As soon as he reached my level, he bent down and began fiddling with Katayama's body, raising the arms and letting them drop, wiping blood from the ears and nose, then looking at it as if studying a specimen under a microscope. What the hell? He was enjoying this? I finally got to see an emotion written clearly on his face. And it was elation? How is this not some crazy dream? Yuya! Yuya! No! Tears began spilling from my eyes like water. I was shocked, confused, and I don't even know what else. Toko! Get away from him! Hurry! God, no! Emi and I found ourselves standing in front of the door to the school infirmary. Shimada took the key and lost it, so this room is no good. If we hid in a place like that, we'd be sitting ducks anyway. We need to go farther down, to the first floor. The poor girl was frantic. I can't say I blamed her, but, well, something about this whole situation just didn't feel right to me. Emi, I'm still not sure we need to run. Huh? What? I just don't believe Yuya, kind, sweet Yuya, would be capable of something like that. But he really did kick him down the stairs. It happened. He kicked Okawa. How can that possibly be true? Fine. Do what you want then. I don't care anymore. With that, Emmy pushed me out of the way and ran past me, toward the stairwell leading to the first floor. Emmy, I have nothing more to say to you. You wouldn't believe me anyway, since you're so convinced I'm lying. And off she went. I was now separated from every one of my friends. But was I really in danger? I mean, I was, but from Yuya? That just didn't seem right. Or more likely, I didn't want it to be. I wanted to believe this was all a misunderstanding. My legs were shaking and my head was swimming. I just stood there, unsure of where I should go or what I should do. And then there he was, right behind me. And in his hands was Shimada's huge knife, the one that was last seen jutting from Shimada's stomach. It was still dripping with blood. This definitely made matters more complicated. How could I doubt Yuya's guilt when he was holding something like that? Why did he even have it? How could he possibly bring himself to pull a knife from his friend's lifeless corpse? But I wasn't going to run. I turned around and braced myself. I opened my mouth, intent on discussing this rationally. If I ran away now, I felt like it would all be over. There would be nothing left to save, no one left to trust. But what could I possibly say to him? Okay, I think it's time to save. Just in case. Alright. Why did you do it, or are you alright? You know what, I'm gonna ask him if he's alright, because if I ask him whether he did it... Are you alright? Do it. My body was still visibly shuddering, and I doubted I'd have much of a voice if I tried talking. But I just wanted this all to be a horrible mistake so badly. I knew I had to say something. I knew I had to get through to him. Maybe he was just freaking out in his own way. This whole experience had been taxing for all of us, and Yuya's only human. He must have been terrified. And maybe I could help get him through it, get him to talk about what's bothering him, and feel a little better. It was worth a shot at least. Yuya, are you alright? Kurosaki, do you know where Urabe and Okawa are? Huh? Why? No answer. He just started muttering to himself, and slowly walked right past me, as if I weren't even there. Yuya! What are you doing? What do you have in your hands? I thought I could put it to good use, in a lot of ways. Stop this! Get rid of that thing! No, I couldn't let this go on. I grabbed him by the arm and just clung to him, putting my full weight on his body to keep him from going any farther down the hallway. He was at a crossroads, about to walk down a path of no return, and I wasn't going to lose the kind, considerate Yuya I'd fallen for. Unfortunately, the only tools I had at my disposal for stopping him were my feelings, and those just weren't going to be enough. Yeah! I was so startled that it took me a moment before I'd even figured out what happened. It's the same in here, you know. That was the first time in my entire life that I'd ever been punched in the head, and he put everything he had into it. Getting killed by this school. I couldn't focus. My brain was still rattling inside my skull from the impact. Or getting killed by me. The world was spinning. I looked up at him with spasmodic, twitchy, tear-filled eyes. There was no sign of remorse or compassion whatsoever. He looked like a feudal warrior, clutching his sword and staring down at his enemy. The area all around my eye was throbbing. It hurt so badly, and felt so swollen and sore. I couldn't even imagine what it must have looked like. And he wasn't done with me. He got in closer and closer, grinning unnaturally as he raised his fist for a second strike. Let's test this out on you, shall we? You can be the first. I was running on pure instinct and adrenaline at this point. I shot to my feet and just forced them to carry me to safety. Somewhere. Anywhere. He was going to kill me. He was really going to kill me. God. I felt something rattling around uncomfortably inside my mouth, so I spat it out into my hand. It was white. A single white tooth with blood-red highlights at its root. That maniac had actually knocked out one of my teeth. God, my tooth. He was there, just behind me. I panicked, tripping over my own feet and stumbling to the ground on the landing between the first and second floor. Ah! I'd fallen on my backside, dropping my tooth on the ground next to me. I began slinking away from the encroaching figure of Yuya Kizumi. Save me! Somebody! Anybody! God, please! No! No! I was scooting backward across the floor, too stiff, sore, and scared to stand. But then my hand brushed across something small and metallic. A key! Ah! It's the infirmary key that Shimada lost! Even with my hand right over it, I was shaking so badly that I could barely work my fingers to get a grip. It was the most frustrating feeling in the world, and for a few seconds that felt like hours, I just kept trying in vain to pick up that damned key. Finally, I slipped my finger through the ring. I had it. This was my one and only chance. Scrambling to my feet, I somehow slipped past Yuya and ran back up to the second floor as fast as I could force my shaky legs to carry me. I had the key. I could lock myself in. I could hide in the infirmary. Kizumi didn't pursue. Not right away. He just stood there, staring at the tooth that I'd dropped on the ground. Staring intently, as if trying to make out what he was seeing. Her tooth? Oh, he's really doing that. Oh, yep, he's doing that. That's disgusting. There didn't seem to be any way to lock the door from the inside. I needed to find a hiding place before Yuya showed up. The corner of the room? Under the bed, maybe? I was scanning every inch of the room as quickly as possible, sizing up my surroundings. My eyes stopped on one of the medicine shelves. Scissors! There are scissors in here! It felt like such a revelation, like the answer I was looking for. But what was I going to do with scissors? Was I going to fight? Fight who? Yuya? I wouldn't stand a chance. I decided to leave them there. I stepped back and crouched down behind the partitioning screen that was set up in the middle of the room. There's a ghost girl in a red dress coming. Urabe had run back to the bathrooms on the third floor to warn Okawa about the imminent threat that was approaching. Unsurprisingly, he was still crouched on the ground, cradling Katayama's lifeless head in his arms. And he was still stubbornly insistent that if he were to leave that spot, he'd have to carry Katayama with him. That's not possible! We have to leave him and run! We'll get caught if we don't! No, we can't just leave him behind. We have to take him to a hospital. But he's dead! No, he's not! He's dead! He's not! He can't be! What a stubborn, foolish man. I'd had enough. I decided I'd rip Katayama's body from Okawa's arms and kick it down the stairs. It made one hell of a thud when it hit the landing, but he was already dead, so what did it matter? As long as it helped get Okawa moving, I didn't care. See? Look! He's dead! So get your ass off of that floor and run! Open your eyes. Katayama is dead. We have to get out of here now. Kizumi. Urabe was looking at me, then at Katayama's body, then back at me, as if she couldn't make up her mind which was more interesting. But why was she looking at me? Did I have something on my face? Okawa, on the other hand, was focused squarely on Katayama. He was trembling all over, but I thought he finally understood. Then he turned toward me. Murderer! Yelled like a madman and ran down the stairs toward his friend's body. He wasn't exactly in his right mind, however, so those last few steps didn't quite go as planned. He tripped and fell quite hard next to Katayama. Ah! Murderer! Murderer! Emmy, what happened? What's going on? Murderer? Who? Me? I wasn't the one who killed Katayama. Run! Run away! You'll be killed! I see. In here. Getting killed by the school and getting killed by me are one and the same. We're all gonna die in here either way, after all. No way! Wow. I got shivers, but damn, that ended too quickly. No freaking way. You can't be serious. We beat Corpse Party Book of Shadows. Huh. Team Gree or Gris, I don't know. Well, we did it. Wait, what's this? Prologue Blood Drive chapter is now playable. Really? Alright. Well, I won't put this into... I'll play the... Wait, is... Hang on a minute. Ah, Blood Drive. Okay. Well, let's play that now. I'll make this a grand finale. This is gonna be the end. Book of Shadows, the prologue to Blood Drive. We're so gonna play that next. This game is just the best thing ever. Oh, it's Naomi. Housewife 1. And you know what my kid told me? He said that Incident was connected with an underground website that's gotten real popular at his school. Oh, I think I heard about that on the news a while back. Profiles are being used for bullying, and to find dates. Is that kind of stuff still going on? Well, the news has stopped covering it, but it's still happening from what I hear. I wonder if my kid goes on any websites like that. Maybe I should talk to him about it. It was late afternoon, right around the time students were returning home from school. And here I was again, standing right in front of the intercom at the door to Seiko's house. Oh no! It's pronounced Seiko, but I'm gonna keep calling her Psycho. I'm sorry. To Seiko's house. I'd been here for over an hour now, standing, staring, wondering whether to push that button. I must have looked really suspicious, especially since I'd been here yesterday, and the day before too, and each time I wound up just going home. But today would be different. That's what I told myself. Today I'd actually push that intercom button. I was ready to face my demons. Okay. Hey, you two can't just run off like that. That was you. Seiko's younger brother. Seiko, I keep saying Seiko now. Damn it. Alright, line up. Make sure you've got your shoes on tight. There we go. Hey, straighten that hat. Very good. I think we're ready now. Take my hands, please. Now you think you two can behave at the market? 'Kay? Aya? Uh-huh. You bet. That's what I like to hear. I made sure I hid out of sight while they were leaving the house. You and those other two kids were definitely Seiko. Oh, okay. I'm just gonna have to say Seiko because it seems that I've gotten stuck to it since I watched the anime. Before I thought it was Psycho, but then the anime pronounces it Seiko. Seiko. They were definitely Seiko's younger siblings. They were the reason I'd come. They were the ones I wanted to see. I had no idea what I'd say to them, but I knew for sure that Seiko existed, so I had to say something. Maybe I'd show them this cell phone picture and tell them, hey, this is your sister, and ask if they remembered anything about her. It would be okay. I just needed to explain myself. They'd understand. They had to. I'd made up my mind. Now was the perfect chance. I stepped out from my hiding place. Hey! But barely made out a single word before I felt someone grab my arm from behind, holding me back. Who's there? Ah, Ayumi. Don't do this. Don't do it. Class rep. I understand where you're coming from, but you can't do this. Our class rep, Shinozaki, was shaking her head at me. She was determined to stop me from confronting Seiko's family. My vision was starting to blur. What do you plan to say to them? You know how it's going to turn out. But... but... I couldn't hold back my tears any longer. I squatted on the ground and looked up at the class rep, who was staring back at me with equally glassy eyes. There were only a handful of people in the world who could truly understand what I was going through. Only those of us who returned from Heavenly Host Elementary School alive. Only Shinozaki, Satoshi, Kishinuma, and Yuka. As for those who lost their lives there, Seiko, Suzumoto, Morishige, and Miss Shishito. We came back to find that their very existence was wiped clean from this world entirely. Nakashima, hey. I was walking home, defeated and dejected, with the class rep at my side, when she suddenly addressed me. It sounded like she wanted to tell me something. I've been doing research these last couple of weeks, at the library, looking up information about the Shinozaki estate. That's the house where Yoshi and Sachiko Shinozaki lived, the place that the beings in control of Heavenly Host once called home. You might recall that the newspaper articles we found about the kidnapping and murder incident gave precious little information about Sachiko. And aside from local papers, nobody even bothered covering the news about Yoshi's death at all. Digging up this information was no small feat. She was looking down at her feet and kept a steady, quiet tone the whole time she was talking. It seemed like this was all leading up to something. But she was kind of an expert when it came to ghosts and the occult and such, so I trusted her. I wanted to know where she was going with this. It seems Yoshi Shinozaki's former home is there, here, in this prefecture. It's in the outskirts, by the mountains. Her home? Like Yoshi's and Sachiko's? Yep, right in our backyard. It's that close? Yeah, Heavenly Host once stood where Kizuragi is now, after all. And since Yoshi Shinozaki worked there, it makes sense her home wouldn't be too terribly far away. Naho mentioned it in her notes too, remember? That's where she salvaged the original Sachiko proxy for the ritual. So, yeah, seems like a good place for us to find something, don't you think? The origin of the Shinozaki family's curse rests within those walls, and I believe there must be some clue there that could help shed light on it. She had my full attention now. I swallowed hard, as if I were taking it all in. I got an address, too. If we take the train, we could be there in less than an hour. So what do you say, Nakashima? Let's go check it out. Right now. The Shinozaki estate. I was haunted by my memories of Heavenly Host, and this would entail visiting the source of it all, where the danger would be far greater. Yet somehow... Lead on, class rep. It was right around 4:30 in the afternoon. The day was already cooling into night, and the sun would surely be setting shortly after we arrived at our destination. But neither of us really cared. I just wanted to be there, as soon as humanly possible. If there were even the slightest chance of finding answers, I'd welcome it. The two of us went right to the station and hopped on the very next train we could find out to the countryside, grasping at straws for all we were worth. I began to wish I'd gone back to change clothes before we left. But if I'd done that, I'd have had to explain to Mum where I was going, and I sincerely doubt she would have been amenable to the idea. I could have always just gone away, of course, but then I'd be directly disobeying my mother, and undoubtedly making her worry sick about me. The class rep and I were seated next to each other on a local commuter train I'd never ridden before. There were only 2 other passengers. Much like us, they were simply staring down at the ground and riding in silence, lost in their own thoughts. These last couple of weeks had been brutal. All 5 of us who survived were feeling it. We were more exhausted than we'd ever been in our entire lives. But no matter how crazy people said we were, no matter how much our souls ached from the memories, we could never forget Seiko and the others. Every photo we had of them, though, be it on film or digital, had had its face blacked out completely. And the scariest, saddest thing I could imagine was the passage of time. Because eventually, I knew I'd have trouble remembering what they looked like. Listen, I want to run something by you. We're the only ones who have any memory of Miss Yui Suzumoto, Shinohara, and Murashige, right? Because if you die in Heavenly Host, it's as if you never existed in the first place. You're erased from the collective memory of everyone in the real world. Why was she bringing this up? I just looked down at my knees, trying unsuccessfully to fight back the tears that were welling in my eyes yet again. Well, have a look at this. Naho's nods to the netherworld. It's just that spirit medium girl's blog, right? Doesn't anything seem odd about it to you? The blog's final entry was the one detailing the Sachiko Ever After ritual. But we already knew that. There were no updates after it because... Wait, didn't Naho die? Right! The class rep nodded and looked into my eyes. Naho lost her life in Heavenly Host Elementary School, just like everyone else. But, how can that be? I'm not sure of the reason, but this is proof positive. Proof that not everyone who dies in the school gets erased from existence. I checked on her mentor, Mr. Kubiki, too. He also died in Heavenly Host, but just like Naho, there's still ample record of his existence. I was literally on the edge of my seat, leaning in close and hanging on her every word. She flashed me a smile. So let's not give up hope, okay? Okay. I was crying hard now. But for the first time since we'd come back, I could see the tiniest, faintest glimmer of hope in the darkness. It wasn't much to go on, but it was easily the best news I'd heard in 2 weeks, and it made me feel a lot better about this impromptu trip. Even just this one vague clue improved our chances of finding something at the Shinozaki estate significantly. At least now we knew what to look for. Now arriving at Kishi Station. Guess we're here. Man, we're really out in the boonies, aren't we? The air smells so... delicious. It's nice, isn't it? And we were fortunate to get here while there's still some light left. We should find the estate before it gets dark. Yeah. This was the end of the line, a desolate farming community, with nothing but farmhouses and fields as far as the eye could see. There was only one main road, and due to the mountainside setting of this picturesque village, it maintained a gradual upward slope the whole way. Not a lot of people around. Yeah, and I was kinda hoping I could meet with one of the locals and ask some questions. Evidently, the Shinozaki family had a lot of clout here once, and were held in high esteem. Really? Since you're a Shinozaki too, I wonder if you'll have some distant ancestry in common with them or something. I guess it's possible, but there are an awful lot of Shinozakis in Japan, you know. That's true. So, are we going the right way? I think it's this way, yeah. But to be honest, the address I found didn't have a house number, so I'm not entirely sure. Oh, but what about your cell phone? Doesn't it have that GPS thing? Can't we use that to figure out where we're going? I already tried, but it looks like there's no map data on file for this area, which is actually very strange. If you say so. The road was paved the whole way, but it was full of cracks and holes, resulting in countless tiny pebbles and patches of sand crunching under our feet. And the darker it got, the more noticeable the sound of the uneven terrain became. There was something unsettling about the idea of two schoolgirls in uniform walking through a strange, largely deserted village at the cusp of twilight. Hey, I really think we should stop and ask someone for directions. How about we pay that house a visit? She was pointing at one of the isolated farmhouses directly in front of us. Sounds good. It's getting dark, after all. Let's pick up the pace. Excuse me. Hello? Maybe they're not home. Let's try someplace else. Okay. Yeah! That scared the crap out of me. What was that? Ah! Yeah, I don't like this. Let's get away from here. I know it's a little unsettling, but if we don't get some information, we'll never find the place. So, come on, let's try asking at that one. This time, she was pointing to a slightly more inviting-looking residence nearby, sporting a blue roof. Hello? Hello, is anyone home? Yes? Good evening, miss. We're a bit lost and would be very grateful if you could help us find our way. I could see the figure of a middle-aged woman through the frosted glass door. I wasn't sure if she was actually going to open it for us, given that we were strangers and she was, by all appearances, a woman alone in an isolated house. What's all this, then? Good evening. I'm sorry to bother you so late. We've just come all the way from Fujisawa, and we're trying to find a certain residence. Oh my, what cute little visitors, and coming all this way with the sun going down no less. Thank goodness. She seemed like a perfectly normal, perfectly kind old woman. I took my place next to the class rep and bowed my head in respect. So where is it you're trying to go, then? I'm trying to reach this address, but I don't have a house number. This is all I know. Let's see. What business do you have at the Shinozaki estate? Actually, we're investigating something, right? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's, for a school assignment. The old lady's demeanor changed in an instant. She made herself as large as she could, and began pushing us out of her house. Miss, is something wrong? Get out. Go on, get out of here. What? What was that all about? Just seeing the words Shinozaki Estate seemed to send her off the deep end. This could be a problem. The day was fading fast. The sky was still blue for now, but it was getting darker by the minute. Street lights were popping on all around us. Let's try to find another house. There must be someone around here who'll tell us what we need to know. Yeah, you'd think. Ah! Hmm? That old lady is still standing there, right inside the door. Oh God, you're right. Why? Is she still watching us? Now let's go, okay? This is getting really creepy. She seemed like such a kind old woman, too, when she first answered the door. But now she just felt menacing. The sudden change was almost staggering. 6:30, huh? Yeah. We walked for quite a while after that. The fields and trees were becoming more plentiful, while houses were becoming a much rarer sight. The road's incline had gotten a lot steeper too. We were literally climbing a mountain now, and the likelihood of finding the house we sought, or any house at all, seemed to be lessening with every step. Ah, car coming. Watch out, Nakashima. Thanks. We pushed ourselves against a guardrail and waited for the car approaching from behind to pass by before we continued our trek. Hey, what are a couple of schoolgirls doing in a place like this? It's dangerous to be walking in the road, you know. The mini pickup pulled alongside us, and an older gentleman stuck his head out the window. He seemed like a sociable sort. We're actually looking for the Shinozaki residence, if you have any idea where that is. Shinozaki? Ah, yeah, the old Shinozaki estate. It's up that away, deep in the mountains. Just up ahead? Yep. Well, that's good. We've been going the right way after all. Yeah, but it's a ways in there. If Yins is walking, it's gonna take you a good long while. Dunno what business you got in a place like that, but hop in if you want. I'll take you up. The class rep and I looked another square in the eyes. He seemed a little shady, oh God, but it was getting pretty late, and as they say, beggars can't be choosers. We wouldn't get another opportunity like this. Don't do what they're doing, little girls who may possibly watch this, probably not, but still. Don't do that. Just say no thanks, and probably don't be out late by yourself walking. Okay, let's carry on. So we thanked the old man and got in his truck. Truck's supposed to be a 3-seater, but it's kinda crowded. Sorry about that. That's quite alright. We're very grateful. If we kept on walking, it would have been night time before we knew it. Well, I sure ain't got a lot of business up at the old Shinozaki estate on the mountain these days. Why are you two looking to go up there anyhow? Well, I'm not really sure how to put it. Let's just say there's some information we're trying to find. Information? About a nurse who used to live there a long time ago. A woman named Yoshi Shinozaki. Yeah, back in the day it used to be a home-run clinic. It did. Lots of people went up there all the time. But nobody goes near it anymore. Dunno what kind of shape it'll be in. We just kept driving farther up the mountain path, and the higher we got, the rougher the ride became. Road maintenance was clearly not a priority here. With 4 tires on 4 different elevations at any given point in time, the whole truck was being rocked to its core. Ow! Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just glad I'm wearing my seatbelt. This is quite the road, isn't it, mister? Ah! The old man's driving was starting to frighten me. I could see Ayumi's head bouncing up and down, and it honestly felt like we were in a runaway vehicle. Mister, aren't you going a little fast? Ah! Ah! My heart was beating a mile a minute. That was a person on the road, wasn't it? The class rep and I had both gone pale. We looked over at the old man. It's okay. Whatever it was, I didn't hit it. What? Believe me, you hit a person or an animal on the road, it makes a bigger noise than that. This old man seemed to have gone a little weird now as well. And much like the old woman in town, he started off so kind and helpful. Who was that? In the road? Dunno. Hey, end of the line. Can't go no farther by car. You're gonna have to hoof it. You going, or you want me to drive you back? Thanks very much, sir. I'll be waiting for you. You just come back when you're done. I can't rightly leave two little girls out here by themselves, after all. Thank you for your consideration. Class rep, you okay? That was scary. There was definitely something strange about him, but he did say he'll wait for us, so I think he's a good person where it counts. Yeah, I guess you're right. The sun was setting rapidly and evening was in full stride, and at the top of this uncompromisingly steep road sat Yoshi Shinazaki's home and clinic. Oh, look! It plateaus up ahead. Is that the place? We finally made it. There's nothing here. This had to be the place, the site of the Shinazaki estate. But there was no house here anymore. The building was torn down. It was just an empty lot. And after we came all this way, too. Wait, hold up. Look over there. Is that a barn? Oh God. You're right. I wonder why this was spared, if the estate wasn't. It was a small barn on the edge of the property, and remarkably, when I flipped the light switch, the lights actually came on. It still had electricity. Is this possible? Yeah, it's kinda giving me the creeps. Despite our misgivings, we'd gone far outside our comfort zone to get here, so we set about searching this mysterious barn for any answers. Oh boy, I'm actually playing, holy crap. Can't check the toolbox. Let's see this. There's a mess of old cardboard boxes here, along with a rusted toolbox and any number of other odds and ends. Doesn't seem to be anything particularly useful in or among any of them, however. Hey look! This box has Shinazaki 1 written on it. You're right! I guess that means this really was Yoshi Shinazaki's house at some point. Okay. I can look up. Can't look at the light though. What else can I explore? A bag? It's a hemp sack that's filled to the brim with some kind of grain. Probably feed for farm animals. Guess they had chickens or something in here. Yeah. Okay. What's this? It's a large drum that seems to have been once used for burning waste products. Nothing but soot and ash inside. I wonder what was burned in here. I don't know. Looks like plain old ash to me, but it could have been anything. Like people. What about this one? It's an old worn-out blanket that someone seems to have left here. Somebody from outside must have sought shelter in here at some point. Oh yeah, maybe. I guess just getting out of the wind isn't always enough. It is starting to get kinda cold in here with the sun down. Yeah. We spent another half hour or so rifling through the barn from floor to ceiling, looking for anything we could possibly find that might help us. I don't see a single thing in here that sheds any light on Yoshi or Sachiko Shinozaki at all. It's full-on night outside too, and we've kept that poor old man waiting long enough. Seemed like a waste to leave here empty-handed, but we'd done all we could. For today at least, it was time to start heading home. Can't believe all that's left is a barn. Yeah. We should come back tomorrow a little earlier. I'd like to try talking to more of the locals. Sounds like a plan. Felt like the sun had been setting forever, but now it was nowhere in sight. The wooded mountains all around us were cloaked in a veil of darkness. There weren't any lights to help guide our path either, so we really couldn't see where we were going. Man, it's dark. Was this the way we came? We need to find our way back to the road. I think that's it, though, since I remember just walking straight to the barn. Ah, class rep, look! Nestled among the branches just beyond a small grove of trees, the inside lights of the tiny truck shone like a beacon in the night. It's the old man's truck! Yeah, it has to be. Thank goodness. I didn't much like the idea of getting stranded in the woods. There was something oddly fulfilling about getting out and actually doing something. Success or no, it feels so much more fruitful than moping about home. I didn't care if this was a fool's errand. As long as I just kept looking, day after day, I felt like I could move on. It wasn't hope, it was purpose. Seiko taught me that. Sorry to keep you waiting. Huh? Oh, I called it in my head. I didn't say anything, but I called it. I knew he wouldn't be there. Wait, where's the old man? Maybe we were gone too long for him. I mean, it is cold, but maybe he had to, you know. She began scratching her head and blushing a bit, clearly embarrassed at the suggestion. Oh, yeah, maybe. Well, he left the engine running, so he should be back soon. Let's just wait for him. It's so chilly out here, though. My stomach's freezing. I'm sure he wouldn't mind if we waited inside the truck, right? That's true. Okay then, class reps first. Huh? No good, it's locked. Locked. Well, that sucks. Guess we don't have much choice. Let's just wait out here. It's so cold outside. What time is it anyway? 8:17. About the right time for cold night air, really. The old man's not coming back, is he? So what do we do? It was so dark we couldn't even see the road, and climbing all the way back down would require far more of a hike than we were prepared for. Ooh, boy. I actually have to save. I don't want to mess up. Alright. Boy, this has been a long episode, but we're gonna power through it. I don't know how long this thing goes for, but I don't want to have to keep splitting it up into more parts. I could split it into more parts, like this is already like 3 episodes, but I just wanted to do something special for you guys, so let's keep going. I'm not gonna walk, because we'll die if we do that, so let's think of something else. I noticed this when we were in the truck coming up here, but there are an awful lot of spots along the road where the guardrail's out. There were indeed. I could easily imagine being blissfully unaware that we were near the edge of the road, then slipping and falling down the mountain. And since there's no lights, walking seems pretty dangerous, don't you think? You have a point. We should probably just keep waiting. If the old man is off doing his business, then he'll probably be back any minute anyway. Yeah, It is cold, but I say we wait. So we waited, and eventually a half hour had passed, still with no sign of the old man's return. Where on earth could he be? I don't think he's coming back. But he even left the engine running. The only sound either of us could hear in this dense, dark forest was that of the truck's engine idling away. So what do we do? At this rate we'll never get home. Phone's out of range, so we can't call anybody. Back to the barn. I guess our only choice is Nakashima. What do you think about returning to that barn? I knew it. I mean, it's got light at least. Why the barn? Well, if we can't get back down the mountain tonight, we should at least take shelter and rest until morning, don't you think? It just seems safer than staying here. So we're going to spend the night? I shuddered at the thought of spending the whole night on this cold, dark mountain. But she was right. We really didn't have much of a choice. I agreed with her that this was the only real course of action that made sense, but safer than staying here? Yeah, I just get a bad feeling from this road, or from this whole mountain, really. It's like there's some kind of presence, and our best bet for dealing with it is to go someplace well lit and get out of the elements. You feel a presence? Is it something we should be afraid of? I don't know. I'm not even sure if it's a person or something else, and it could be one presence, or many. All I can really say is that we're being watched. Okay, then let's hurry up and get back to that barn. Finding ourselves left with no other choice, we put the road behind us and began walking up the dirt path leading back to the Shinozaki family's barn. However... Oh guys, I'm so tempted to just stop it here just to annoy you. But we're not, we're gonna carry on. Power through it. Was the barn this far from the road before? This is weird. It's really weird. It's like the road leading up to it just up and vanished. Does this mean we're... Wait, don't wander off. Sorry. Come on, let's just try retracing our steps. We'll just turn around and go back the way we came. Sounds good to me. We're going the right way, aren't we? Shouldn't we be seeing the road soon? Where are we? Oh God, no. We're lost. Lost in the middle of the damned forest. What? Yes, we were definitely lost. There were literally nothing but coniferous trees as far as the eye could see, in every direction. Dark, looming trees. Their tall, thin forms were casting a web of shadows all along the mountainside, obscuring our vision of anything at all outside our immediate surroundings. Don't you have a compass on your phone? Yeah, but it won't work. It uses GPS. Oh, it does? Why can't this stupid thing get any location data? God, what good is it if it craps out on me when I need it the most? Land of living. Did you just hear a voice? I couldn't make out what it was saying, but yeah, that sounded like a person. Maybe it was just the wind in the trees, though. At any rate, we need to find our way off this mountain. You have any ideas? I mean, we shouldn't just wander aimlessly. That's true. If we got lost in the mountains, They say you should never head toward low ground. I didn't know that. The best course of action is probably just to stay in place and wait for daybreak. But it's cold and we have no tent. Maybe if we huddle together? That's fine, but I'm good to walk at least a little longer. So how about we keep at it for a bit? If we get near enough to the road, we might see the truck. Okay. I swear we've walked right by those trees already. But there's no way we could be walking in circles, is there? Everything looked the same up here, no matter where we went. We both began to wonder if we were making any progress at all. What is it? Over there, I heard something. Huh? Where? Where was it? Yeah! God, what next? What was that? Oh God. Ah! We kept climbing we kept clinging to the faint hope that we might soon emerge from these endless woods, but all that got us was a good 2 hours worth of slogging. The rough terrain was killing our legs, and our stamina had been worn down to the bone. I can't move anymore. The class rep plopped herself down onto a bed of dry leaves on the ground, and just as she did... Whoa! Class rep, look! Look! Huh? Ah! Beyond the silhouette of the many conifers at the edge of our vision, a faint light could be seen. We're saved! Thank you, Nakashima. Thank you for noticing that. No problem. Let's go. We were both dead tired, and our legs hurt like hell, but we forgot all of that at the sight of possible salvation, and just took off running. As it happens, the barn we'd been looking for all this time was the source of the light. Those naked light bulbs shone like beacons in the night sky. Thank God! Oh, it's the barn! I thought it was going to be the old man's truck. Yeah, me too. But this is even better. The barn is what we were looking for after all. But I don't remember leaving the lights on when we left. Do you? We should have shut them off, yeah. But it's certainly possible we didn't. Well, if we're the ones who left them on, then we just saved our own asses, so I guess I should thank goodness for small favors. All we had to do was push through some undergrowth, as tall as we were, and then we'd be there. Seems we'd somehow circled around to the back of the lot. We made it. Let's go inside, shall we? Sure. Man, just having light makes all the difference in the world, doesn't it? My phone's clock was showing just past 10:40. I started thinking about home, and about how much my mum must be worrying by now. Feeling a bit saddened, I hesitated at the barn door, when all of a sudden... Oh my God, another perfect opportunity for a cliffhanger. Alright, let's go. Ah! Ah! The class rep let out a nearly voiceless cry of absolute shock. She was staring into the darkness just past the building and shuddering in terror. "What's wrong?" "Nakashima, look, right next to the barn." "Huh?" What I saw there was something that couldn't be, something far beyond my imagination and comprehension alike. That's... what? How can that... There, where the Shinozaki estate once stood, in what was nothing more than an abandoned lot only a few hours earlier, an old, humble residence now rose above us. It seemed almost to be floating in the air, but it was very clearly an actual, corporeal building. The two of us stood there staring at it for several minutes, completely dumbfounded. Why? It wasn't there this evening, was it? It wasn't. It definitely wasn't. But... so why is it there now? How should I know? I had goosebumps all over my body, and a cold sweat had begun tracing lines down my back. Is it just me, or is it glowing? What are we even looking at? Aside from its more ethereal qualities, it was just an old, beat-up two-story farmhouse. But sure enough, the nameplate by the door read Shinozaki. This was, without a doubt, the house where Yoshi and Sachiko Shinozaki lived. Oh God, you're hyperventilating. Are you alright? The class rep raised a hand to stop me from intervening. I'm okay, but thank you. I just have to keep my mouth closed, and it'll pass. Hey, Nakashima, I think now's our chance. What? We came here to learn the secrets of the Shinozaki estate. And, well, here we are. It's inviting us in. It's daring us to look around. You mean go in there? I know, it's really scary, but we can't turn back now. Gazing at the imposing structure, she took a deep breath. Then, after collecting herself, she walked right up to the front door and tried sliding it open. It gave no resistance at all. Let's go. Wait! Oh God. We're in. No good. The Phantom Estate house had no power, it seemed. The barn still had working lights, but not the main house? Fortunately, there was a flashlight on a nearby table. The class rep picked it up and switched it on, illuminating the wall across from the entrance. Not that there was much to see. The entranceway itself was extremely small, breaking off to the right at a solid wooden door just a few steps in. A quick pan to the left then revealed a steep hardwood staircase leading up, and that was pretty much the entire room. Be careful. The energy in here is strong. She'd gone completely pale. I could tell just by looking at her that she'd sensed something. Her eyes shone with a mixture of terror and determination. It's much darker than Heavenly Host. The energy in this house is jet black. Really? Don't let your guard down. Not for 1 second. Thinking back, our first steps into this house were basically the start of it all. It was at that point that we'd left the world of the ordinary far behind. Simply being able to see these walls, these floors, these ceilings with our naked eyes, directly defied the laws of nature. The house itself was a ghost. Literally anything could happen in here. I knew that, and was doing everything I could to brace myself for the trials ahead. But the fear was still there, and the shaking wouldn't stop. I don't really know how to explain it, but there's something like a literal wave of emotional turmoil cutting right through the air in here. It's pretty deeply ingrained too. I wonder what happened before this place was torn down. Oh crap, we're playing now. This is surprising. It's going on much longer than I thought. Guess I'm gonna have to look at stuff now. It's a landscape painting of a lake somewhere. Hard to tell in this light, but it looks almost like the lake's surface is comprised entirely of outstretched hands reaching up from below. Couldn't be much more unsettling. Damn right. Ah! The shoe shelves are full of dead rats, and each one of them, without exception, has had its stomach dug out. Maybe they ate each other. Hopefully they ate each other. What's this? This mirror frightens me. I'd rather not look into it at all if I can help it. Why not? Well, a mirror is an object that people peer into, and over time, their thoughts and feelings can burn themselves into the glass. It's very common. Now that you mention it, I guess mirrors do kinda make me feel like I'm being watched, even though I know it's just me in there. That wasn't me in Nakashima I saw just now. It looked like Sachiko and Shinohara. Maybe it was just my imagination. Alright, door time. The door isn't locked, nor is it sealed shut like in the school, but it still won't open. There seems to be something heavy blocking it from the other side. Stair time then. Or windows. The glass is thoroughly clouded over, making it impossible to see outside. In addition, the window has no handles or grips of any kind, suggesting it was never meant to be opened. Alright. The staircase is very plain, and the stairs themselves are exceptionally steep. They're also quite old and seem to have absorbed a good deal of moisture, so it would be best to take care when climbing them. Alright, well let's do that then. No? What? Can I climb them? Yeah, right. More pictures? There are a couple of framed photographs of Sachiko here dressed in a formal kimono. It looks like they were taken during the Shinto Shichigo-san festival, where children of ages 7, 5 and 3 gather to pray for luck and longevity. A small plaque is placed below them with embossed letters that read, Sachiko, just before her 7th birthday, best wishes for a long, happy life. Well, that sucks. What's the sideways one? It's an old picture frame, but the glass is broken and there's no picture inside. Okay. What else am I supposed to do? Yes, we know that. Maybe I can look through the window? Nope. What about the mirror again? Yes, I remember you said that. Okay, what about the second picture? Yep, okay, right. Same thing. Huh. I'm stuck. Am I? Come on, let's go upstairs. Damn it. Not upstairs. Something on the floor. This. Yes, we know that. Once was bad enough, best to let sleeping rats lie and not look at them again. Right. Yes. No more looking at the sleeping rats. Or the dead rats. It's just a saying. Boy, I do not know what's going on here. What is it? The door? No, there's something on the other side. The mirror. Yes, okay, that's fine, Ayumi. I understand that you do not want to go. But what I do not understand is that, lake, portrait again. No. Staircase. No. What do you want me to look at, game? What am I looking at? There's nothing. What about that? No, not that. What am I missing, guys? What the hell am I missing? Is it something super obvious and I'm just being the biggest derp ever? Honestly, what the hell? Dude, what the hell am I supposed to click right here? The door isn't locked, yeah, there's something blocking it from the other side, right. I can't climb the stairs, though. It's not giving me any prompts to do so. You fucking idiot, Nathan. Oh, just thinking about it now. Oh, I wasted so much time standing in front of it. And I just realized that I can click Q to walk around. I'm a fucking idiot. Okay. Okay. Stairs. These stairs sure don't feel safe. Yeah! Ow. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. The floorboards here are actually pretty well rotted through. So, be careful. Best to hang onto the wall for leverage as you go. It's so weird. This is a house that shouldn't even exist. But we can touch everything. We can pick it all up. It's all real. I seem to recall reading about cases before where the house itself is basically just a spiritual echo. But this seems totally different. Oh boy. We're in the hallway now. Let's try the first bedroom. This particular bedroom looks like it's been converted into a study. Seems out of place, considering the family. Whose study was it? Bookshelf is full of old books that have been thoroughly wrecked with age. Every one of them is yellowed, musty, and falling apart. Nope, same message. I don't want to miss anything. This is getting interesting now. Waiting for a jump scare. One of its right legs is bent beyond repair and there's a thick layer of dust piled on top of it. No one's been sitting here for a long, long time. The desk is piled high with dust, but the items situated on it are neat and tidy. Whoever used it was very organized. Right in the middle of the desk sits a lone key, completely covered in dried blood. Take it. Fuck yeah, I'm taking a key. Key to Yoshi's room. Ooh. Oh, wait. Do you hear something? It sounded like footsteps echoing through the wooden frame of the house. Oh. Specifically like someone with leather shoes walking around on the first floor. Oh no. The class rep and I looked at one another and shuddered. After a moment the footsteps then began loudly stomping up the stairs. It's coming toward us! We have to hide! We scrambled against the wall of the room, leaving the door ever so slightly ajar so we could survey the staircase. Yeah! There really is something in here with us. Something walking around the halls. God, I can't take this anymore. The constant, unrelenting pressure of this search was beginning to take its toll on me. The class rep, sensing my agitation, took my hand in hers. Keep it together, Nakashima. Stay strong. Remember Heavenly Host. If we allow these holes to form in our hearts, we'll just fall prey to the darkening. You're right. Thank you. Alright. Doesn't seem to be anything else in here. Lamp? Well, it was worth a shot. Okay. Next bedroom. The door is locked. Oh, but it looks like the key from the other room fits. This is... There were photos of Sachiko all over the room. Virtually everywhere there was space for them. Her mother clearly held her very dear. I don't see any pictures of Sachiko here. Pictures of Sachiko, oh okay. Pardon me, however, like so many objects in Heavenly Host, they're affixed to its surface as if they're mere decoration. They can't be picked up or even moved. Okay, what's this? There's a tiny kimono in the box, sized for a young girl. The style looks so similar to the ones worn in the Shishigo-san festival, which would make this Sachiko's for sure. Okay. Ooh, what's this? So what's this now? It appeared to be an embedded wall safe with a circular padlock and a panel of buttons comprised of the digits 0 through 9. Let me see. This looks like some kind of vault, doesn't it? We tried pressing buttons at random in hopes of opening the lock by pure chance, but that didn't do a thing. Following the spin clockwise indicator etched into the steel safe, we tried spinning the lock itself as well, but had no luck with that either. In fact, as soon as the lock made one full rotation, all the buttons we'd pressed in suddenly popped back out. So, we're dealing with a combination-locked safe surrounded by photos of Sachiko from when she was still alive. If Yoshi's the one who set the combination, it's probably safe to assume it has something to do with Sachiko. You know, you're absolutely right. It must be something simple. Whoever used this safe would have chosen something they wouldn't forget after all. The question is, what would that something be? We tried a handful of different combinations, based on homonyms, rhyming, and the like. But every time we'd just spin the lock, hear a metallic thunk, and watch as the numbers reset on us. Sachiko, come on, think. We made it back from Heavenly Host Elementary alive. There must be some tidbit of knowledge we can use. What had we actually learned about Sachiko, though? Number-wise, all I could come up with was an approximate height, and that didn't work. What was it that plaque in the stairwell said? Sachiko, just before her 7th birthday? The kimono she was wearing in that picture was an exact match for the one we found in that box in the middle of the room. It seemed as if Yoshi were really fixated on Sachiko turning 7. So what about just the number 7 by itself? It was a long shot, but... Hey, I got it! Wow, nice job, Nakashima. The area of the wall all around the safe opened up like a secret door, with the combination lock holding in place and serving as a doorknob. Beyond the tiny door, a door so small that we had to crawl to fit through it, was a long staircase stretching down into a hidden underground room. Spider webs, and the dust here is really thick. Hey, come on, I want to see too. Is it some kind of storehouse, maybe? I tried to get a better look at what we were crawling into, but the stairs went so far down that even with the flashlight it was just too dark. So, this is a hidden passageway that shouldn't exist, inside a building that shouldn't exist. I think the danger level has reached its peak here. It feels like we're standing at the entrance to some realm that's not even part of this world. The class rep looked me right in the eye. I was scared, but I knew exactly what she was going to say. She didn't need to speak a single word. Even if all that awaited us down here was an unimaginably horrific end, we were standing at the source of the answers we so desperately sought. We were poised to uncover the truth behind the curse of Sachiko Shinozaki. This was the gate to a new world. If we turned back, we'd regret it for the rest of our lives. So the two of us just looked at one another in the eyes and nodded. We were ready to descend this staircase into whatever abyss lurked below. I don't even think Naho made it this far. So be careful, Nakashima. Stay alert and focused down there, no matter what happens. She'd begun descending the stairs ahead of me, but stopped and looked back after only a few steps to issue me this one last warning. I nodded again. It's those same footsteps. There really is something else in here with us, wandering around, and it sounds like it's on the second floor. They were extremely close. It sounded as if they were poised just outside the door to Roshi's room, just a few feet away. Nakashima, down the staircase, hurry! Okay. And so the two of us fled through the secret door and down the stairs. No more hesitation. The wooden steps creaked and groaned beneath us, even more than the ones from the main stairwell. It felt like they might fall apart at any moment. We just took one step at a time, swallowing our fear and just pushing onward until eventually, finally, we arrived in a small, damp, musty room underground. Are you alright? There's a ton of junk on the ground here, so be careful where you walk. Okay. There was no light down here with us whatsoever, save for the class rep's shaky flashlight beam. And all that beam revealed was a mess of books and clutter. With a twist of the wrist, it then shone upon a desk containing a chaotic mountain of books, loose-leaf notes, documents, and assorted beakers and flasks. It looked like some mad scientist had done research and conducted all manner of untold experiments down here. What's that? It looks like someone's family tree. The class rep shot over toward a desk farther in, her interest piqued by a glimpse of a large document spread out on its surface. I followed her lead. You need light too, don't you? Sorry. There's a desk over here with saw blades and other sharp tools on it, so it's kinda dangerous. Stay where you are. Genealogy chart. Gifted line. It really is a family tree, but what does it mean by gifted? Shinozaki, Mifune, Shiamura, Mita, Nagao. Oh, I recognize some of these names. Hinoi. That's right. It's not necessarily a lie. There were many individuals born in the closing days of the Meiji period who possessed remarkable powers. These people achieved fame for their thoughtography abilities and psychic talents prior to the so-called Senrigan Jinken, or clairvoyance controversy. Chizuko Mifune and Ikuko Nagao were particularly noteworthy figures at the time, and whether their abilities were real or not is beside the point. What matters is that even after the scientific community discredited such abilities, the truly gifted continued exploring them anyway, often in secret. So if they're the gifted line, does that mean Yoshi and Sachiko were descendants from those famous clairvoyants? It sure seemed that way, and from the looks of it, The Shinazaki line was never blessed with male heirs either. It's a matrilineal house that passed its blood and family name down from mother to daughter, generation after generation, through adopted son-in-laws. I was certain if I traced this family tree far enough, I'd find the names Yoshi and Shinazaki. Shinazako. What the heck am I talking about? I've lost the plot. Sachiko. Jesus. Ah, there they were. And just like everyone before her, Yoshi had married a man who'd been adopted into the family in order to keep the Shinazaki name. Looks like the root of the tree is this person named Sierra. And Yoshi's mother name is Raki. She was the eldest daughter in her family and had no brothers, so that makes Yoshi a thoroughbred, a direct, unfiltered descendant of Sierra. I guess it stands to reason, then, that she'd have so much power and influence even as a spirit. The rapping is getting pretty loud in here. All of these adopted fathers who continued the family line died suddenly after their children were born, it seems, without even one single exception. It's like the family line had a mind of its own and went to great lengths to eliminate the blood of other lines once it had served its purpose. These are men who are willing to give up their own birthrights and take another's name for the sake of love. It must have been hard on the Shinazaki women. Daddy's not breathing. No, darling, no! I suppose this was a fate that just couldn't be averted. Such a strong spiritual influence. Kanai Shinazaki, Hirohito Ayato. That's my grandmother, my grandfather, and my dad. I remember hearing that my grandfather was adopted into my grandmother's family and passed away shortly after my dad was born. The head of the family had 3 daughters, and Grandma Kane is descended from the youngest. I thought it was creepy enough just having the same last name, but to think my family's actually from the same lineage as Yoshi and Sachiko. Am I gifted, then? What does that even mean? Hey, did you find something? It's pitch black and really creepy just standing here, you know? Yeah, sorry about that. I'll be right there. In fact, fire hazard or no, how about I lend you one of my candles? The class rep had an old oversized sheet of paper in her hand and was shaking wildly. Did she find some crucial piece of information, I wondered? Book of Shadows. Class rep! Are you okay? It hurts. My head feels like it's being crushed in a vice. Ah! No, stop this. Keep it together. She suddenly turned toward one corner of the room and froze completely, gazing intently at the wall. Her eyes became wide as saucers. She was like a cat who'd stiffened up and just kept staring into thin air, on high alert for no discernible reason. And just as cat owners are often left wondering what their pets are seeing, I too wondered if she was looking at something, or had heard a noise maybe. I was worried about her, but really, I was more scared than anything. I grabbed her and tried to shake her out of this disconcerting trance. Class rep, what's wrong? But she brushed me off and held up a hand as if to say, hold it right there. She then began walking slowly toward the corner she'd been watching. There didn't seem to be anything special about it. It looked no different from anything else in the room. It was just an ordinary wall. For a few moments longer, the class rep just stood there, gazing at this empty space. Then, with no explanation, she began tearing away loose boards. It wasn't difficult to do. The entire room was old and in tremendous disrepair, and the wood was quite thoroughly rotted. Each board came off easily. Eventually, small gaps began to form. She stuck her fingers into these and pulled, yanked away whole chunks of wall, forming bigger and bigger crevices. These crevices then finally merged into one big gaping hole, through which a hidden sub-room, no bigger than a closet, had now been fully exposed. And within that sub-room sat a thick, dark tome. It's the Book of Shadows! Why is this in Japan? What's going on? What's the Book of Shadows? Whatever it was clearly a very old book, and it didn't look like it was bound from paper. There were small ornamental patterns sewn into it, all of which had a certain disconcerting quality about them. In addition, a liquid that looked just as much like blood as it did ink had pooled into multi-hued stains all across the lip of the front cover. And that grotesque cover was already unpleasant looking enough to begin with. There's no mistaking it. These pages were made from human skin and animal hide. This is, without a doubt, the Book of Shadows. Sis told me about it. It's a dark tome with a long history wrought in blood, passed down from generation to generation in secret. It dates back to the tumultuous days of the witch hunts that occurred in the end of the Middle Ages, primarily in Europe. Witch hunts? Yeah. Mass paranoia led to the indiscriminate persecution and slaughter of as many as 40,000 people. They were suspected of practicing black magic by making pacts with the devil. So the churches and local communities brought them to trial, where they were almost always subjected to horrible torture and eventually executed, usually in really cruel ways. People began blaming them for natural disasters, poverty, and other unfortunate realities of life, and influential individuals used them as scapegoats. The vast majority of those killed were just innocent victims of circumstance who happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But there were a few. There were a few gifted people among them who had legitimately mastered the practical use of magic. Gifted people? What do you mean practical use of magic? Are you talking like witches flying around on brooms and stuff? That's impossible. It's hard to believe, isn't it? But I want you to know everything about this. Ayumi, about the things in this world that science can't quite explain. About the paranormal. I'm already familiar with your studies, though. You taught me the laws of the natural world, and that true nature of magic is prayer. It makes sense, too. It's really easy to understand how powers like that would work. But anything more than that, like flying around on brooms and stuff, just seems like fantasy to me. And I'm sure that's what Dad and Mum must have thought too, when I told them I was interested in Wicca. To them, it's all just dangerous fantasy. Though there are also the Shinozaki family roots to consider. But that's a long story. So how about we save it for another time? Huh? Okay. Witches, you see, were usually village elders and sages back in those days, conducting themselves with intelligence, dignity, and honor. So when the witch hunts began, they were smart enough to hide their powers from public view, and as a result, ironically, the majority of them survived. But even after the ban on witchcraft was lifted, the memories of what happened remained, and the black arts continued to be socially shunned. Eventually, the powers of magic began to fade with disuse, and the witches feared that these powers, passed from generation to generation throughout their long proud history, were in danger of being lost forever. So they began chronicling them on paper, in painstaking detail, for all posterity. And that chronicle is right here. The Book of Shadows. Passed from one gifted mage to another, revised and appended countless times, a complete guide to witchcraft, detailing spells pertaining to all creation. You may have heard of Al-Azif, that infamous Lovecraftian grimoire that everybody says is just a work of fiction. But whenever this book comes up, even among researchers, people always debate whether or not it's real. They always admit it's a possibility. Supposedly it contains a complete listing of white and black magic spells, all manner of lost arts, and even some forbidden acts of sorcery. As in, the really dangerous kind of magic? It would be really dangerous in the wrong hands. That's why it was supposed to have been enshrined and kept under watch by the witch's descendants. So why is something like that here, then, tucked away in a hidden room in rural Japan? I don't know, but it's been a good half a century or so since anyone's been able to prove they laid eyes on it. And that's led many people to start doubting its existence. The class rep suddenly picked up the book and began casually thumbing through it, as if she were looking up a word in the dictionary. Hey, is it really okay to be holding that, much less opening it? Yeah, it can't hurt to take a quick look. The tome, with its cover that seemed to have been stitched together from the hides of many different animals, looked heavy in the class rep's hands. She became insistently engrossed in its contents as she hungrily flipped through the pages, one after another. As for me, all I could do was watch in awe, as my very real friend and classmate lost herself in this very occult book, in this very impossible place. As expected, the book was not written in Japanese, but in a mixture of French and what I could only assume to be magic runes of some sort. As a high school student, I certainly couldn't read any of it, nor could the class rep, but some pages had Japanese notes scribbled in the margins. Notes that were very possibly penciled in by Yoshi Shinozaki. I have no idea if there'll be Japanese footnotes for it or not, but I'm betting. If I look in the sorcery section... The glint in her eyes was one of desperation as she continued flipping through the pages. What was she doing? I was starting to get uncomfortably nervous about this whole thing. Eventually her legs must have gotten tired, as she just sat down on the floor, but she continued paging through the Book of Shadows. Then finally, she seemed to find whatever it was she was looking for. The sound of stretched skin flipping upon itself stopped, and she just stared. This is it. What? Land of Corpses. A spell to open the door of the dead. I think this is what created Heavenly Host. There are notes all over it. There certainly are, but why has the whole page been crossed out like that? I don't know. Maybe the spell failed. Maybe whoever was casting it seized up with fear partway through. But that doesn't matter now. Look at this. Look, Nakashima! Raising of corpses, a spell to resurrect the dead. That can't actually work, can it? Resurrecting the dead is just impossible. Are you still bound by common sense, then? Have you forgotten where we are right now? I had to admit that was a good point. Reality as I knew it was far different now than it was when I woke up this morning. But is it okay for us to do something like that? I mean, ethically, won't we be crossing a line humans aren't meant to cross? Are you scared? Huh? No, you're not just scared. You're also forgetting about all the people we lost, about what they've been going through. Think about it. Miss Yui and Suzumoto and Shinohara and Marishigi, all at their wits' end, suffering in that horrible place. Think about how painful their deaths were, and how their existences were erased from this world. Can you really accept that as a reality? I know I sure can't, and I'm betting the same is true for you. That's right. Our friends were dead. They died, and we came here so we could do something about it. And if we didn't do this, nothing would change. They'd still be dead, no hope of ever hearing their voices again, their faces eventually forgotten. Tears began welling up in my eyes. I missed them so much, and I'd do whatever it took to get them back. If I could just see them again. If I could talk to Seiko even one more time. It's okay, it's okay. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. We climbed our way out of that hell. We broke free from Heavenly Host. So let's follow our hearts now. If there's something we can do to fix this situation, then we have to do it. So, come on, let's do it. Okay. It didn't matter how improbable or even impossible this was. Even if there were only a 1 in a million chance, we had to take it. It was absolutely foolish of us to try this. It was unnatural and unholy and completely inadvisable. But as long as there was that slight possibility, this wasn't something that just had to be done. We weren't about to give up without a fight. I've heard that practitioners of forbidden sorcery suffer even greater payback for their actions than black magic users. But this book wasn't written in Japanese, and I can't read the parts that warn about that. So, out of sight, out of mind, I can handle this. This isn't quite the solution I had in mind, but as long as it lets us reunite with the friends we lost, I don't really care. Since they don't even exist in this world anymore, dragging them back by force seems like our only option. Yeah, so let's just do it. Okay, how about we start with Suzumoto? We need a photograph for the spell to work, and I've got one of her with me. Alright. Our first attempt at resurrecting the dead was going to be a spell to bring back Mayu Suzumoto. All the materials we needed were present and accounted for in bottles and jars within the room. A beetle carapace, part of an animal's body, etc. The first step was to carve a pentagram into the floor with a knife, then place 3 paper dolls in the center, of the sort used in the Sachiko ritual. The one in the middle would bear the name of the person we wished to raise, and the ones on either side would bear the names of the casters, our names. Mayu Suzumoto. The class rep was then to place Suzumoto's photo on top of the paper doll dedicated to her. As for our paper dolls, we each had to blow on them 3 times, then cut both our palms with the knife and coat the spell materials in our blood. Okay, here we go. Be strong. Yeah. Ah! My blood mixed together with the class wraps in the white ceramic dish, forming one singular globule. I remembered hearing once that everyone's blood is slightly different color, and found myself thinking of this as I applied pressure to my throbbing palms. With all the setup taken care of, it was now time to chant the spell. Fortunately, these foreign words all had Japanese pronunciations written in above them. Arya, Temturia, Kanda, Atrios, Inumas, Kalit, Demura. This was starting to feel crazy. I was sitting here listening to the class rep chant a magic spell to raise the dead, for goodness sakes. I wasn't sure how much of a grip I had on reality anymore. What were we thinking? Trying something like this. Would this really bring Suzumoto back? No. If I had to concentrate. If I doubted the spell, then the spell would fail. For now I had to believe that this would work. I had no reason not to. Riteria, Manimus Capra, Wicca Wicca, Onruka, Topika, Kanda! The ritual took several hours to complete, with the class rep carefully chanting away the whole time. Finally, the last word on the last page was spoken. Class rep, are you okay? Come on. Well, do you think it's going to work? Blood-red stains that looked almost like letters suddenly splashed onto the open book of shadows, though it was unclear where they'd come from. What? No, if the book catches fire, we... The class rep quickly snatched the book away from the flame that had sprouted out of thin air. The photo of Suzumoto she'd set down had completely burned to nothing, but the paper doll below it was unscathed. So, what does this mean? Does it mean we succeeded? Yeah. Shig? Shig, where are you? That voice was unmistakably Suzumoto's. The two of us took one another's hands, and we just waited. Shig, where are you? Suzumoto... I'd started to call out to her, but the class rep held up her other hand to stop me. Something's not right. What do you mean? She's walking in circles. After another few footsteps, we heard the unmistakable sound of the heavy safe door we'd left ajar opening up all the way. Then the footsteps resumed, and this time they were coming toward us. I'd instinctively shrunken back and frozen myself in place, afraid of the unknown presence approaching us from up above. She was certainly in no hurry. Slowly, ploddingly, she climbed down the staircase. It was Suzumoto, all right. But her face was completely blotted out. No eyes, no nose, no mouth. Shig! Ah! 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 I couldn't tell if she was screaming or moaning, but either way she was clearly in agony. The sound was barely even human. It was a death knell. Our spell had failed. The Suzumoto-like being we'd summoned was lying flat on the ground, face up, writhing and spasming. There was nothing we could do to help her. Nothing at all. As I watched her convulse, I noticed rune-like symbols appearing all over her body. And then, without warning, her paper doll burst into flames. As soon as it did, Blood began spraying from each of the runes on her body like water, shooting from a fire hose. Oh, God. Ah! Oh. Her arms, neck, and thighs were all separated from her torso, right where the runes had appeared a moment ago, and the Suzumoto-like being moved no more. The flame that had engulfed her paper doll was now completely extinguished, leaving behind nothing but ash. Then the class rep fell to her knees as well. She was bleeding from her arms and legs, in the same spots as the Suzumoto-like being, and bore the same runic markings. Class rep! Oh no. Rounded saw blades were now jutting from the marks on her body. Why? Where had they come from? Oh! God, it hurts! Class rep! It hurts! What is this? It's exactly the same depth that this fake Suzumoto was subjected to. I'm gonna die in exactly the same way. I've heard that practitioners of forbidden sorcery suffer even greater payback for their actions than black magic users. But this book wasn't written in Japanese, and I can't read the parts that warn about that, so out of sight, out of mind, I can handle this. Pay back. No, no, no! Nakashima, the paper doll, put it out! Hang in there, I'll have it out in no time. Just another few seconds. I tried putting out the fire by slapping the paper doll with my hand. I was so panicked I couldn't even feel the heat of the flame on my skin. Go out, damn it, go out! Go out! Go out already, god damn it! It wasn't working. It wasn't doing anything. The fire just continued to burn. It's not going out! What do I do? No! Please! Wasn't there anything else I could try? I looked around and saw a paint can full of water nearby. Come on, work! I was acting on impulse. I didn't even think about what I was doing. I just threw the entire contents of the can right onto the flaming paper doll. Blood began spurting from the mark on the class rep's neck. The rounded saw blade from the desk earlier was digging into it for some reason. It hurts. No, I don't want to die. Save me! Class rep! There seemed to be no escape for us. We were destined to die here. This was our punishment for meddling in things no human should. For playing God. Mine was on fire now too. I was next. There was no fighting this. We were both going to die here. We were going to die horribly and painfully. No! Ayumi! Ah! Like an angel sent down from on high, our savior suddenly appeared. A woman, older than us, scrambled down the stairs, calling out the class rep's name. She leapt over the railing and practically dove toward the burning paper dolls. By the power of the guardian spirits, I cast out that which would do us harm. Daito Kuju Onaku Un! is out. I had no idea what this woman had just done, but whatever it was, it saved us. The flames were out and we were no longer in danger. And the class rep's neck, though gashed, was still fully intact. Sis! Sis! She flung herself at this new arrival and latched on, tears practically exploding from her eyes. I guess this was that sister of hers I'd heard so much about. Sis, you came to save me. Oh wait, voice acting. Oh, what the fuck? Why did that happen? Oh, Christ. Oh, that was the payment that she had to make. Oh, Jesus Christ. Wow. Holy fuck. Well, guys, we fucking did it. We fucking did it. That's the end of Corpse Party Book of Shadows. That is the whole game complete, including the prologue to the next one. And holy shit, that was a fucking awesome prologue. I don't think I've ever played a better prologue, to be honest. In fact, that whole game was just fucking excellent. Storytelling is really good. Just everything about it. And I am so fucking glad that you guys were here to fucking experience it with me. Because, you know, this is one of those games that I don't think I could keep to myself. And I know that it's long-winded as hell, but I guess that I'm that guy on YouTube who's got it done for you, so you don't have to go out of the way to play it. I just hope that I did everything right and gave you guys the best experience. That's really what I wanted. I didn't want to give up on the project because I've given up on a few before. This one was the longest thing I've ever done, like longest series. But I know that some of you were like hanging on to every episode, so I knew I just couldn't hold you up there. But that's besides the point because freaking I love this game, so I wasn't going to stop playing it anyway. But God, that ending was just absolutely amazing. 2 endings in one video. This is one hell of a long freaking video, I can tell. It's gonna take, I don't know, probably a whole day to upload. And that's gonna suck ass because I won't be able to do anything while it's uploading, but still. Whew, I'm still trying to recover from that ending. That was, just bloody amazing. I was getting tingles the whole way through that. And like my throat's hurting, aching right now, but it doesn't even matter because it's being pushed aside by the awesomeness of this game. Alright guys. Now I'd like to thank you honestly from the very bottom of my heart for sticking with me and you know, helping become a part of this. It's just like, you know, you guys make this for me, really. Just seeing your comments and what's funny, what's scary, and like just everything. It really is great to see, and I thank you truly just for watching. Like, I know this is a long-ass episode. Maybe you don't even get this far. Maybe you'll just watch the start, but I mean it nonetheless. If you've clicked on this video, then I thank you, whether or not you get this far. But yeah. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm going to be doing more series in the future. Like, more like this. Anything like this. I just want to entertain. And if it comes down to it, you could say I'm copying, but, you know, I really love Cry's videos. I'm like drawing so much inspiration from him. Maybe if you guys want, I could start playing games that he plays, or has played in the past. I've seen heaps of his playthroughs, but like, you know, it's a different experience sometimes. Like, I was thinking of playing Richard and Alice, because that game was quite good. I already forget how it goes, but I know it was good. There's the Rule of Rose. Actually, I think that was on Wii, so I probably won't be able to play that. There have been suggestions of playing the Cat Lady, and I'm definitely going to play that. I think I might play that next, actually. I don't know how many people will like that. I haven't actually seen any gameplay of it, so it'll be interesting for me at least. And, well, of course I'll be playing the rest of the Corpse Party games. I think that there's 2 more, like Blood Drive, of course, the one that came with that prologue. And I think there was 1 more, but I'm not entirely sure about that. But I think we're going to take a break from Corpse Party for a bit. Hit up Cat Lady in between some readings, and it's going to be a good time. So I'd like to reiterate one last time, thank you guys so freaking much for just being here with me. Like, it means the world to me. I'm really nothing without you guys, so I do hope that I'm doing this right. Because if it's not right, then, well, why am I doing it? So, take care of yourselves, guys. Stay tuned.